This is the central sound of Elston Nation, full of what some would classify as a pandemic-scoring disease in your ear holes. It's taken me down to a register which is just essential for your ear holes. And welcome to Wargamers Anonymous. Hey.
So for this episode, we're going to be charging everybody £3 a minute to listen to Elston's voice. I think that's about the going rate.
Yeah, I mean, women, just hold on to the desk and squeeze your legs together. It's, yeah. Don't worry. I understand what I'm going to do to you today, and it's fine. Don't feel embarrassed. It's all natural.
And on that absolutely amazing bombshell, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Wargamers Anonymous, your one-stop shop for all your wargaming needs. This is a super special bonus episode because we are switching the weeks that we release episodes. Long story short, I'm swapping the weeks that I have my son. So we're swapping the weeks that we release episodes. So it will now be on the alternative Monday that it used to be. So we either had to miss a week or do an extra episode. And we didn't want to leave you guys hanging. So here is an extra episode. As always, I am joined by Elston from Elstonation, my superstar co-host, who is feeling a little bit under the weather today, as you probably guessed from that sensual intro. Elston, I mean, right. I feel like it's an obvious answer, but how are you?
I am full of disease. I am Papa Nurgle has got me, and yeah, unfortunately, everyone in the world. I know this is tentative subject and everything like that, but I've got COVID. It sucks. I'm okay. It just sucks right now. So. I'm surviving. I'm drinking plenty of liquids. I'm battling on. Anyone that's had it, I feel for you. I know your pain now. This has been going on for 5 days for me, and it's still not letting up on me yet. So, which is quite a long time for me in illnesses. To be fair, like 3 days is a max, and then I'm in recovery mode. So, this is. Yeah, appreciate all those people that had COVID. Who are like, yeah, wait till you get it. I've got it. So, but to look on the upside of things, my voice has dropped down to a register, which is just sensual, to be honest with you. I feel like James Earl Jones and me could have a talk off, and Morgan Freeman could judge it, and you know what? Everyone would just have orgasms in their ears, and it would just be sensual. It would be the best thing you could ever listen to. Ever.
Yeah, well, I mean, I went from 6 to midnight when I started talking to you earlier on. But yeah, well, thank you very much for still taking the time to come and join me today, bud.
I would not miss it.
I appreciate you are not feeling your best, but we're going to do a little bit of a different episode today. There will be no snack attack later on. Spoilers.
I can't taste anything right now either, so it doesn't make any difference.
And we'll also not be doing a book club this week. We're just going to have a bit of a catch-up to start off with, and then we'll get on to the main topic, and we'll just do that. It's a bonus episode. It might end up being a little bit shorter than normal, but we'll see. We'll see how we go.
Yeah. We didn't want to leave you out high and dry, so I'm here to make you wet again.
Jesus Christ.
This show is just going to be full of this. So everyone brace yourself, buckle up, and get some tissues.
Oh my God. Elston, I know you've got sorry, I'm just trying to make up for the deep end.
Yeah, you go super high. I'll just stick at this register.
Is that what we should do? We should swap round this week. So like normally your voice is usually higher than mine, and I'm the deep one. So like because you can't do high this week, so maybe I should just talk like this instead.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
I'm not doing that for the entire episode.
Wonderful.
So other than like obviously you've not been well this week, and I've had COVID. I don't think I suffered quite as much as you're doing, but no. I know that it's rough. Have you managed to get any hobby done since we last recorded? Have you managed to do anything at all?
Yeah, I have actually.
Wow. Elston, the absolute machine. Not even COVID can stop.
Yeah, right. Now, so interesting thing, obviously when you've got COVID, your breathing isn't on top form. So I didn't really want to do any airbrushing because that involves having a mask on. Same with gluing and stuff like that. Although before I got COVID, I managed to glue loads of Heresy Space Marines together from my selection. Found out I've got about 60, 70 Marines, so I put all of those together because today is Heresy release day. For when you're listening to it, it'll be like a couple of days after, but for today, this is when the box set comes out, so I was super hyped about that. Anyway, when COVID struck, I was itching to do something, and I honestly couldn't carry on with priming everything. I couldn't go ahead and try and like figure out any kits that I missed that needed assembling or anything like that, like assembling any more Heresy stuff. So I turned back to what I think we can all agree is the funnest part of this, the painting aspect. So I picked up my paintbrush for the first time in, I want to say 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah, right. And I painted up Cyclops from Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Oh, I saw the picture of that, actually. Yeah, it looked good.
Did I send you the picture of Magneto?
No.
I will send you quickly a picture of Magneto.
Yes, please do.
I painted up Magneto in an alternate color scheme. And I was quite happy about that as well. So should be coming across to you right about now. I'll put. Hopefully, I can find a link to my Instagram or something like that where I can post pictures of these. So I had quite a lot of fun painting again, and I realized how much I missed it. And I realized also how fast I still am, because like Cyclops was done in about an hour and a half, and I was like, wow, I can still do this. And
that Magneto is gorgeous.
Yeah, right. Even I was like, oh man, this is good. I like this. So
what rust have you used though on the base?
I tried using the Dirty Down rust effect stuff. It's not quite working how I want it to be honest. I think I still need to practice with it a bit more to like get the hang of it, because at the moment it's just going dark brown, and I'm like,
see, what you need to do is get yourself some iron powder.
Here it is.
Hashtag plug.
Here it is. As my voice is there to make people wet, Pickle is also going to plug you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyone that is interested in what I was joking about, there is a video over on Geek Gaming Scenics for making your own rust. Literally, just actual rust. It's not even rust effect. Yeah. It is just rust, and it looks amazing. Check out the video that came out yesterday, as you're listening to this on the Monday, over on Geek Gaming Scenics, where you can see it used on models as well.
I am really tempted to try out that method, because it is just, well, it's rust.
Honestly,
it's hard to beat it, right?
You've seen the pictures and stuff of it on the bits of terrain that we did when we were first trying it out. We have since like sort of not, I want to say perfected. That means it sounds like it's perfect, but we've played about with it a bit more.
Refined it.
Yes, refined. That's the correct word. The video that's coming out tomorrow, or yesterday, as people are listening to this, we use it on a load of Nurgle stuff, and it looks amazing.
I'm looking forward to that video. Yeah, that technique is pretty sound, and as I said, I do want to try and give it a try, but I just gotta wait till Nurgle leaves me alone for a little bit so I can attempt it. The only thing I think being careful with that is like how much you put on, because I think it looks, from the photos I saw, it's like if you put too much on, it will completely obscure detail. But
if you proper dope it on, then it does. Like, if you want like really like heavily corroded stuff, what we ended up doing is obviously applying it a bit thinner and a bit more sort of selectively, so that it is more adding that little bit of texture, and goes a bit more orange if you put it on lighter rather than just going dark and gumpy.
So it's a case of like thin and thick, basically.
Yeah. It depends. Like you apply as much as you want to get the effect that you want, sort of thing.
So everyone, if you like him thin or you like him thick, they've got you covered, thick and
true.
thin.
What I'll try and do, if you send me over the picture of Cyclops as well, is I'll put the pictures up on the YouTube version as well. So anyone that's watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see the pictures pop up.
I shall send them across momentarily. But how about yourself, good sir? What have you been working on?
I've not actually. So since the last time we spoke, that was Friday last week when we recorded. I can't remember if I'd started doing the troll that I was working on or not.
I'm not sure you had. Well, you hadn't mentioned it. You said you were going to be working on it, but you don't think you'd started it.
I think because I've not done anything this week, I think I started working on that on the Sunday. Saturday, I went to London with Pirate Queen Pickle. We went to go and watch the Back to the Future musical, and we had a bit of a wander around.
How was that musical? I've never heard of a Back to the Future musical, so I was like fascinated by it. Honestly,
it was so good. I don't know if you're into musicals or not.
I can appreciate them. I like The Greatest Showman a hell of a lot. So
yeah, if you've even got like a vague sort of passing appreciation for musical theatre, and I mean, I'm assuming you like Back to the Future because everybody likes Back to the Future. Then I would say go and watch this if you get a chance, because it is like not just the musical itself is absolutely fantastic, but then all the sort of practical effects and special effects are absolutely insane. Because like going into it, I'd purposefully like not watched any like previews or looked at anything. I'd not listened to the soundtrack or anything because I wanted to go in blind. And sometimes when you go to watch musicals that are adaptations of like films and stuff, you sort of go, I wonder how they're gonna do that, and you think, coming from a theatre background, like an amateur theatre background, I sort of go, well, they'll probably have to like change that, or they'll have to do this differently, or that's probably not going to look great. And then you go in and watch it, and they just do everything, and you're like, oh my god, it's like it's so good. The basic plot for the musical is it is the first film. It is the first Back to the Future film. There's a couple of little tweaks done, but like by and large, it is that plot beat for beat, but done in a musical version. And yeah, it was fantastic. So that was cool. We went to a couple of little game stores. We went to one called it was called Orcs Cavern or Orcs something. There was like a tiny little game store, mostly board games.
Right
in London. That was it was just down the road from the Games Workshop, so just off Tottenham Road in London. And then we also went to Forbidden Planet, which was just up the road as well.
Nice.
Bought a few bits. What did I buy? A couple of t-shirts and a couple of other bits. A couple of pin badges, some Galaxy Quest t-shirts me and Pirate Queen Pickle got, and then I got a t-shirt from the Back to the Future musical as well.
Nice.
So that was cool. We also met up with Michael from Nat One Videos. We had a couple of drinks with him after the show. We very, very nearly missed our train home because we had an extra drink when we should have been leaving, really. But when I say we very nearly missed it, I mean literally like we got there with 3 minutes to spare.
Very close.
Yeah, very, very close. But it was a fantastic day. And then on the Sunday, going back to what I've been working on. I started work on the mountain troll from Atlantis Miniatures. It is Atlantis Miniatures, but it's blue.
It's going to be Blue Giant.
Blue Giant.
It's going to be the overall umbrella.
I'll put a picture of the work in progress up on here. I'm doing this for a video, which will hopefully be out in the next couple of weeks at some point. I'm hopefully going to get that finished later today, actually. I'm going out for my hair cutting. Don't worry, I'm not having it all cut off. But I'm going out for my haircut after I've recorded this, and then when I get back, the plan is to finish painting that and filming it, and then get it edited so that it can go out later on this month.
Nice.
Other than that, I have not really done a lot of hobby. This week I have been, it's been the first week back like in work. Luke's been back. Luke got back from holiday, so I've been back in filming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday I've been at home editing the video that will be coming out on tomorrow, Sunday.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been a busy week this week, and it's been bloody warm.
Right.
I have planned a few times in the evening to sit down and paint, but then the side of the house where my studio is, where I do my painting, that is the side that the sun is on in the evening. So yeah, it's been a bit too warm, so I've sort of ended up not doing anything most of the week.
Yeah. The problem is when it's too warm, it makes things wet.
Yeah,
right.
It does do that. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm making the most of why I've got this voice going on. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna fill your ear holes full of sugar candy. I'm not actually joking. That this is my voice right now. So
yeah, he's not putting it on. He's not putting it on.
This is just me for the foreseeable future.
But yes, it's Horus Heresy Day today. The Heresy box is finally out, or it will be in about an hour when shops open, or if shops are already open. I mean, I know some people that have ordered it online that got their delivery yesterday.
I mean, I think, some people either know the managers of stores or something like that, because it was funny that they got it, and then the Heresy trading site was just bombarded with Mark 6 Marines, Spartan tank, Praetors, and they're just basically stripping the kits down. And I was like, this is what Troll Trader does, so why do you... anyway.
Yeah. It's the same old. It's the same old stick. People buy the box set and then sell the individual parts for more, so that they can make money on it. It's what people do. Like, if you desperately need those models, maybe pick them up, but try to avoid it and try and discourage people from doing it, because I mean, to be honest, like, I don't understand. It shouldn't be an issue with this, because the box set is not a limited thing. It's a stock item now. Like, it is just available.
It's just weird, right?
It's weird.
It's just weird that. But I guess not everyone wants to fork out 140, 150 quid for this box. So yeah, if they just want the Spartan, then fair enough, I guess. It's one of those things. So, but yeah, Heresy Day. It's here. It's arrived, and mine should be coming in the post at some point.
So you've already started work on your Heresy stuff, because you had some stuff already from. Is it all Forge World, the stuff that you've got? That it's all resin stuff.
No, it's a bit of a mix and match.
I thought like this is. I don't know a lot about Heresy from before now, but I thought that the big deal about this was that it was all in plastic now. So I thought it was all in resin before. Or is that not the case?
Not quite the case. So what you had was, it was originally all in resin. You are correct in that aspect. But a couple of years back, they released Betrayal at Calth box set.
Right.
What that contained was, for the first time, it had... Was it Cataphracti Terminators? Cataphracti Terminators, which are like the kind of squarey, boxy shoulder pad Terminators. That was the first time they'd shown up in plastic. It had Mark IV Marines, which again, first time they'd shown up in plastic. A Contemptor, first time that's shown up in plastic. And I can't remember what else. And that was kind of the first dabble into Heresy and plastic stuff. So there was that. And then after that, they did the Burning of Prospero. Again, new types of Terminators, the Tartarus types, which are kind of look like mini Contemptors. First time they showed up in plastic. Then they released Mark III Marines with that box set, which are like, we call them shovel face. They're basically big, boxy, like up-armored Marines. They showed up in plastic. Custodes showed up in plastic. Sisters of Silence showed up in plastic. And again, some Lords. So there's been a smattering of plastic Heresy for a while, to be honest with you. It's just never been a full Games Workshop are pushing this as a game system itself. Those two previous box sets had their own like board game sort of associated with it.
Right, okay.
So they were technically a independent game, like a specialist game, effectively. But everyone was just going to get the model so they could play it with Forge World Heresy stuff.
Right.
Right now, what they've done is Games Workshop are like, this is a new game system. It's gonna be in plastic, and it's like, ooh.
So it's now like a fourth. Like, I know obviously Games Workshop does a lot of different games, but like their big games are 40k, Age of Sigmar, Lord of the Rings, and now they've got Heresy as like a fourth one. That's the intention, I'm assuming. Yeah,
that's looks like the way it's rolling. So hopefully there's enough traction with it that will carry on. But they have said that there's a lot of new plastic kits coming out. There is a plastic Leviathan Dreadnought. Have you seen one of those before?
I've not, no.
Right. Have a look when you get a chance. A Leviathan Dreadnought. They are a chonky boy.
I'll take a look.
They, So they're coming out, and everyone's got suspicions that jet bikes are on their way, various other bits and bobs. So everyone's kind of leaning towards and hoping towards that most of the Forge World kits are now going to be coming out in plastic, which means probably cheaper and more accessible because you'd be able to buy them in store rather than having to order them through Forge World and deal with resin. So,
cool.
That's
speaking about Games Workshop box games, as you mentioned, with some of those, the main topic for today's show, we thought we'd just sort of take it easy and do something that we can just have a bit of a chat about and give you guys something to listen to. So today we're talking about our favourite Games Workshop boxed games. So that's because like we spend a lot of time talking about Age of Sigmar and 40k, a little bit of Lord of the Rings when we had Benji on, but we've not really spoken about a lot of the smaller games like the box games or the smaller skirmish games. So we're talking things like Mordheim, Hero Quest, Blood Bowl, even stuff like Necromunda and Warcry and all that sort of stuff, like the smaller games that maybe don't get as much attention as the big army games. And just talking about a couple of our favourite picks and why we like them and what we'd like to see maybe as well. Like if Games Workshop was to release a new like smaller game, what would we like to see? So Elston, would you like to kick us off? What is your all-time favourite box game from GW?
Yeah, right. So I've got a good one for you. Now, everyone might have heard of Warhammer Quest, Curse City, Shadows over Hammerhold, or whatever it was called, Silver Tower.
Yeah.
Blackstone Fortress, stuff like that. Warhammer Quest had a original game called, surprisingly enough, Warhammer Quest. And it's my favorite game still to this day.
Wow.
I don't have another game that kind of holds a candle to it. In the aspect of it is kind of simple, kind of complex at the same time, and it's got the elements of what I envisage of classical great team working or just a general you're going to have a good time playing this. Warhammer Quest is effectively board game version of D&D. You have your characters, you set them up with the stats that they're going to have, you pick your equipment, your gold, and everything like that. And then you would go into a dungeon and you would maybe have to slay a monster or something like that. As you go through the dungeon, you would encounter other monsters, traps, stuff like that. The board would evolve on you, so you wouldn't know what it looks like.
Right.
So as you go into each room, that you would find out what the next room looks like. Very much akin to if anyone played old Hero Quest, much like that. Although Hero Quest was a case of you kind of knew the layout, you just didn't know where the doors were and stuff like that to get into
was
rooms.
In the rooms.
Yeah, Warhammer Quest, it's all based on tiles. So you would have, for example, your starting tile, your characters would sit on it, and there would be a door at one end, and you wouldn't be able to see anything else. And then when they get to the door, you basically say, do you want to go through? Do you want to have a look? What do you want to do? And then you would attach another tile once they'd had a look or investigated or done X, Y, Z. What we did is we kind of hybridized it a little bit, and we integrated elements of D&D into our game system. So out of the base game, it might not be as fantastic for yourselves, but what we did was we added elements to it to make it our game effectively. And the wonderful thing about it is it has elements of, as I say, cooperative. So you'd have maybe 2 to 4 adventurers, and they would be controlled by an individual person, and then you would have a games master or dungeon master that would control the rest. Typically in my group, I was the dungeon master, mainly because I really like messing with people. And what we found amazing with it is when you allow people to start doing stuff that's not really in the rules mechanics, but you kind of make it possible. So very D&D aspect.
Yeah.
One particular example, and I'm going to get a little bit vulgar here right now, but don't worry, my soothing tone should hopefully make this sensual. No, it's not. It's gonna be horrifying. The guys went into a room. There were a load of barrels in there. One of the guys had been giving me jip, and he was trying to power game it, and I was like, "You're not getting this. Like, if you keep on trying to power game, I'm going to start punishing you." Didn't say this out loud, but this is what the thought process was going in my head. So he was like, "I'm going to find all the gold in the room. I want to search all the room." And I was like, "You can't search all the room. There's like 7 barrels in here. It'll take you ages." It's like, all right, I'm searching this barrel. I was like, right, okay. It's pretty dark in there. You can't see what's in the barrel. He's like, I'm going to put my hand in. I was like, you feel something soft and squidgy. And he's like, okay. Pulls his hand out. It's shit in the barrel. So Brilliant. I was like, yeah, there's shit on your fingers. And he was like, So then he tried to rub it off on another person's cloak. At this point, I was like, I'm messing with this person. I was like, persons whose cloak it is, see if you spot this. So I made him roll, and he spotted it. And I was like, do you like the fact that he's rubbing shit on you? And he's like, no, I don't. I was like, what are you going to do about it? It's like, it turned into a fight, and it was amazing. I love doing stuff like that, where you just get to mess around. The wonderful thing about Warhammer Quest as well is once you finish your dungeon, you have like a traveling aspect, and you have to go to a town, a village, or something like that where you would stock up, resupply, train, upgrade, XYZ kind of thing. But as you're traveling towards it, there are events that happen. So there might be a pickpocket which comes along, and he offers you some bread. But what he's actually doing is he's stealing like half your money, and you've got to go through all these different encounters. It's simple enough that there are rules all explained out, so you don't have to. It's not reliant on a DM creating the world as much, which is nice. So it's got a nice kind of structure element to it that the games master can just run with it. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't need to come up with things. It's just there. You just roll a dice and the encounters happens. He can just step in if he wants to. Basically, like change the direction effectively. Yeah. One other example was they came out of a dungeon and they got loads of items, loads of really powerful weapons, and but they were working for Karl Franz, which is the Emperor in Warhammer Fantasy Times. And he basically said, you need to give them all to me. And one of the guys was a pirate, and he basically convinced the Emperor to like have a gambling contest to see whether or not they would keep the weapons. And I was messing with him, so I was playing with the Emperor, and I basically just started making him gamble or rolling the dice and stuff like that, and he ended up losing all their weapons. It was amazing. It's like some people, if you kind of like power gaming it and like working out the meta so you can beat it, you might not enjoy it as much as the people that experience just laughing that you got screwed over. I think that's what I love. I love watching people get screwed over. I love watching myself get screwed over, because it's generally funny to laugh at yourself and other people, because if everyone's laughing, it's got to be a good game. So Warhammer Quest is another thing I need to mention about it. Every single Warhammer creature is available to appear in a dungeon. So if you're into hobby collecting stuff, you can basically collect everything and model it so it shows up in a dungeon. There is a bestiary, which is 10 levels. Each level has 30, 40 different monsters on it, going from rat to bloodthirster. So it's the whole spectrum. So it's a phenomenal game. I'm sad that they keep on doing stuff like Curse City, Blackstone Fortress, and stuff like that. When I'm like, guys, just go back to the original. Go back to the original. You'll be fine. Trust me, everyone loves it, but they don't. They keep on going with stuff like that. So, and that's fine. But
maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe one day. How about yourself, old Pickleton?
Speaking of laughing at yourself getting screwed over, I think I'm going to have to say that my favourite sort of boxed board game that Games Workshop does is Blood Bowl.
Yeah, getting screwed over. Yeah,
that game I have had so many fun experiences playing that game, like right from first edition all the way through. Like they did the new box in 2016 where they sort of relaunched the support for it, and then the new one that's just come out, the season 2 or whatever it's called. Like I love Blood Bowl. I have so many Blood Bowl teams. It is the game that I have probably played the most over the last few years. I love 40k, and I'm really enjoying getting into Age of Sigmar. But just from a time aspect, like Blood Bowl is a lot quicker to play in some cases. Not all cases, but in some cases, it's a lot less faff because there's less to carry about. You know, I don't have to have a massive box full of an entire army. Like I can just turn it with like 12 models. I don't even have to have 12. I can just take 11. Like if I just want a team with no subs. And that's it. But I love the rule set. I love how I don't think, and I might get some heat in the comments, but I don't think that there is a more balanced game that Games Workshop does than Blood Bowl.
Have you tested out the new version? Yeah, I haven't, but I've heard mixed reactions about the new version.
I've played a couple of games of the new version. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. But yes, I would agree. Blood Bowl is fair and unfair in equal measures. Yeah. I would like to say, because you you don't want to get attached to things, but you do get attached to things, and that's when that person dies.
It's that weird, like, it's amazing how the game manages to, it rewards you for your players doing well by those players then getting upgraded, but then that also then makes you not want to use your best players in case they die. And it's sort of like, I've had games before where I have done absolutely ridiculous like plays, like that I should not be able to do. Like they should not have worked. Like looking at them from a statistical point of view, like the amount of sort of 5-ups and 6-ups that I've needed to roll to like dodge through a group of people and then like go for it a couple of times to score a touchdown. Like it should not work, but on those occasions, like, you do it, and like even your opponent wants to watch you do it because they want you to do it because it's ridiculous. Like, I don't know any other game where I actively root for my opponent. Like,
to try something absolutely bonkers.
Don't get me wrong, there's people that power game in Blood Bowl and that sort of cheese it, and they just play to win and that's it. But I think by and large, like, Blood Bowl is just that game that encourages fun and good sportsmanship, and just encourages you to do stupid stuff because it's all about the spectacle. Like throwing a goblin halfway across the field and stuff like that. Yeah, it's like I could play it safe and like maybe I'll get one, or I could try this and it'll be absolutely epic if it works out. I've got so many. I've got Skaven team is my favorite. That's what I tend to use the most. I absolutely love my Skaven team. As well as that, I've got an old orc team. I've got a black orc team that's nearly finished painting. I've got a dark elf team. I've got a vampire team. I've got a halfling team.
So halflings, I'm going to step in here. Halflings are possibly the best team to play against and play with.
Halflings are so much fun
because they are getting squished. And
so a few years ago, I did the first yearly birthday Blood Bowl bash with a few of my friends, and we decided to do a stunty cup. So we either took halflings or goblins as teams, so that it was all it was basically just a load of short people shoving each other about in the middle of a pitch. That game, that tournament that we did was so brutal because everything's so small, but everything's like quite weak. But then because everything's so small, it sort of evens out, and like there were so many casualties.
Right,
but that was such a good tournament. I really, really enjoyed that. But yeah, I agree. Halflings, amazing to play.
It's kind of hard to explain to people, like when you play Blood Bowl, because the concept of going into Blood Bowl is basically don't expect to win, and don't be shocked that your team gets absolutely mauled by the other team. As soon as you get it, you'll get it. And it's just this wonderful sensation of, right, let the carnage begin. And
that's it. You go into Blood Bowl expecting to have fun, not expecting to win.
Right, exactly that. It's as you say, some people kind of metagame it, and they might get upset that they've lost. But the idea is to just appreciate silliness, laughing at yourself, laughing at your opponent, and just enjoying the slaughter, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's it. And it doesn't matter. Like, you'll get matchups sometimes and you'll think, I'm going to win this easy because I'm using whatever and they're using, something else that's like a lot weaker. Doesn't matter. First, just a few years ago, I was playing my Skaven team, went to play against my friend's Ogre team.
Yeah.
And he had ogres and then a few like grots or noblars or something that went with it. Or it might have been goblins or something, I don't know. Some tiny.
Noblars are the ones that usually go with ogres.
Yeah. So I put my freshly painted rat ogre. You've heard this story before. I put my freshly painted rat ogre that I'd been working on for a couple of weeks. I was really, really proud of it. It was like a little conversion from it's Screaming Bell. Is that the kit?
Yeah.
And I took a rat ogre from that. I painted it all up. It was his first game. I was so excited to use him. I put him front and center on the touchline. And my friend put a Noblar in front of him. First turn, my rat ogre got killed outright. It rolled a block, hit the block, broke through my armor, rolled damage, killed me. First turn. That rat ogre has never been on the pitch since. He's been retired. He will never see the light of day again. And it's stories like that make me absolutely love the game. Other stories, like I mentioned earlier, like the one game I was playing, it was like last turn, and I had the chance to score a touchdown. I had to do like a million dodges to get through like 3 or 4 of his players that were all sort of cramped together with a Skaven gutter runner. So it's not unfeasible, but it was still hard. Like the amount of like 5s and 6s I had to roll. I dodged through everything, ran up the pitch. I had to go for it 3 times because he'd got a whatever the skill is that lets him go for it an extra time.
Sprint? Or...
I think it's sprint or sure feet. Or sure feet's a reroll, I think.
Sure feet's
I think it's
reroll.
sprint. So I went for it. Fine. Went for it again. Failed. Rerolled it. Passed it second time. The third go for it, which would have won me the game. Can you guess what I rolled?
I'm sure you just rolled that 1, didn't you?
I did. I just rolled that 1 and fell flat on my face, and ended up being a tie. But it was still hilarious. Like the fact that I managed to do all of that and then I just trip over my own feet at the end.
There were elements in Blood Bowl as well, which if you start using all the crowd interactions and stuff and kickoff events, that you just don't like. You can go in with the meta game set and go, right, I'm going to do this. If you throw in those interactions, half your team might be killed before it even starts or knocked out. You're like,
especially if you start using the like the nasty. Is it nasty play or foul play or something? Whatever the cards are that you get, and like using those like before the game as well, which gives you like even more like special rules and stuff. It's just such a good game, and there's such a nice variety. There's literally a team out there for everyone, depending on your play style. Like I say, I prefer using Skaven. I've got a bit of a thing for sort of fast but very very soft teams. That's why I like Dark Eldar so much. But I've got elves, Dark Elves. I've got Skaven. They're probably my favourite 2 teams. Orcs are really fun to play, but like if you're playing Orcs, then you like the ball's like a secondary objective.
Yeah, you're there to kill them.
Yeah, you're just there to smash the other team into oblivion because they're fun to play. But yeah, I absolutely love it.
If you want a power game, Lizard Men are kind of at the forefront of that. We should probably mention Blood Bowl on Steam or on Xbox is not a million miles off what the board game's like.
No, I mean it is running off the old edition. Yeah, it is running off the old edition now.
Blood Bowl 3's on its way though.
Yeah, so I don't know when, because it was supposed to be out the end of last year, then it got pushed back to the first quarter of this year, but we're now in the second quarter of this year, and it's still not out, and there's still no word on when it's out. I think that I don't know if it's an open beta, but I've played the beta a couple of times, and it looks good, and it plays all right, so whenever that comes out. But you can pick up Blood Bowl 2, it's usually on offer, 9 times out of 10 every other month it's on sale for like the Legendary Edition, which gets you all the DLC, all the extra teams and stuff, and you can usually pick it up for like £5 or £6 on everything as well, not just on Steam. That's on Xbox and everything. Like I say, it is a slightly older edition of the rules, but it's not a million miles away.
If you want to get the hang of the basics, it's probably like a good starting point. Because I found out via playing that Lizard Men are possibly one of the most broken teams.
Lizard Men get all the strength of the strong teams and all the speed of the fast teams.
Yeah, right. And it's just like, how do you deal with that? Because effectively you just cage up the skinks with the Saurus and then deck everyone, and then the skinks run at a phenomenal speed to score. You're like,
because normally what happens is like you have. Like you have a team like my Skaven, for example, are all like fast-ish, and then I usually have a couple of gutter runners which are really fast, and then I have one rat ogre which is my big powerhouse. Other teams like orcs and stuff generally like it's about a 50-50 split. If you have goblins, like you'll have half of them are orcs, which are sort of, I don't say they're strong. They are very average, just like normal orcs, are like sort of middle of road. And then the goblins are a little bit faster, but they're obviously squidgier. Whereas, lizard men are just like, you get really, really strong stuff and then loads of fast stuff.
it's broken to the point where I felt bad playing against people in our little league that we did. It was just like smack. Sorry, I killed that guy. It's just one of those things. But it's Blood Bowl. Couldn't agree. Blood Bowl would be second on my hit list. To be fair, for board games, it is phenomenal.
Are there any? So if Games Workshop were to, like, you know, pie in the sky idea here, if Games Workshop came up to you today and said, Elston, we need your help. We want to release a new boxed game it can have miniatures in it. It can have like expansions where you can buy extra miniatures or whatever to put in it, or it can just be a one-off standalone thing. What would you like to see? Like, what would the setting be? Like, would you have it set somewhere completely new, or would you have it set in one of the existing universes? And what sort of gameplay would you like to see?
So that's an interesting question. I mean, what I would like to see is a kind of Warhammer Quest style thing, but exploring the old world. Because Age of Sigmar, they're still kind of exploring that new universe in its own right, and they'll carry on doing that. Whereas the old world was kind of mapped out, but I think a lot of people don't know it. And I think if they came up with a clever way to explore and like sort of show you that old world in a kind of adventurous style setting, something like that. I mean, I'm going to lean back towards Warhammer Quest on a monstrous level, but if you generally had like a campaign with a dungeon element, or possibly everyone always wants that ultimate, if you're going into the sci-fi element, everyone wants to, and I don't know how many people have actually done this, they do that big versus small game, so they'll go from like Battlefleet Gothic with the spaceships down to boarding a planet or landing on a planet, and then they would like maybe have a 40k game or Titans, and then go down to like kill team levels to do things, and they make it all this big long campaign. I would like something like that, like a old world campaign map, but it'd be kind of story driven, or at least adventuring kind of element to it, where you could grow and level up, and definitely a co-op game. I think co-op games are a win. It's either a one-on-one or a co-op game. Any other kind of formula I think is kind of a bit of a it could work, it might not work. Like 3 on, well, not 3-on-3, but 3 players versus each other never works, because 2 gang up on 1, and then it just becomes a 1-on-1 after that. Yeah. So I would like some kind of adventuring old world, just so it could explain a little bit more, because I haven't read all the stories of the old world, and it'd be quite nice to have like a fun way to like bump into Skarsnik, or like Grimgor Ironhide, or whatever, and just meet all of these characters which everyone loved. I think that would be a kind of also a nice kind of salute to them, because they're not around these days. So it'd be quite a nice way of saying, yeah, we still remember them, and here they are in a story.
Yeah, it would be cool. I think for myself, like, did you ever play Mordheim?
Yeah, I didn't play. Well, I think I played it once, but I didn't. It was a little bit before my actual time.
So I've played Mordheim a couple of times, but more recently, the more recent sort of version, or our version, would be Frostgrave.
Right.
So the idea is you have a leader, or Frostgrave, you have a wizard and an apprentice, and then you build up your warband, which is made up of thugs and soldiers and all sorts of stuff. Mordheim was, I think, the original for that sort of style of gameplay. Yeah. it's where everything stemmed from. I'm assuming so because everything else like calls itself Mordheim-like. So the basic idea is you build up your warband, and then the more you play them, like your characters level up and gain experience, and then they are able to do more stuff and they get better at stuff. And the idea is that you're exploring, like each mission, there'll be different objectives, like you've got to secure treasure or do X, Y, Z. Now, I played a couple of games of Mordheim years and years and years ago. Liked it, but never got into it very much. It was when I was a lot younger. But in more recent times, I played a hell of a lot of Frostgrave, and I absolutely love Frostgrave. They've got a new game out as well. That's from North Star.
I think so. Maybe I think it's Osprey Games do the book, maybe, and then
it might be North Star do the models. Yeah,
maybe.
But they've got a new game, Stargrave, which is essentially Frostgrave but in space. Now, my pitch for a game from Games Workshop would be that it would be Mordheim, but it would be set in the 40k universe. And I'd go straight out there and I would say no Space Marines, nothing like that, because you wouldn't get that random stuff like that. It would be a smaller warband, more akin to sort of like Rogue Trader maybe, like sort of level stuff. And you do that. Maybe you kit out your ship. You can upgrade your ship like as your base as you play through. You'll get better weapons, better upgrades and stuff. You'll get better at different things. Like maybe you can have like a psyker or something. I don't know the proper ins and outs. But I would love to see something like that set in the 40k universe where because like they did there was a role playing game they did recently, the 40k one.
It wasn't Blackstone Fort.
It was an actual role playing game. Where like you could pick what you want to play as, and like if one guy picked a Space Marine, it puts the threat level up. So like you might be a Space Marine, but then everyone else like might be Guardsmen.
Yeah, I know there used to be a role playing series called Dark Heresy, which was a 40k role playing, but that was a while ago that came out.
I think it's a recent thing. Last few years. I might be misremembering. But like something like that, so it'd be lots of smaller, not like big Space Marines and like stuff like that. Like you'd have like Rogue Traders or like maybe like a commissar, like that's sort of abandoned his purse or something. I don't know. And you'd have stuff like that, and you'd go through and you'd explore. You'd you have some missions where you're trying to get sneak in and out and get stuff. You have other missions where you're trying to sort of infiltrate somewhere else. I was thinking that could be quite cool, and it gives you that opportunity. It's a nice combination between sort of narrative role playing gameplay and like tabletop fighting, like with your stats and stuff like you would do in a normal game. It's all skirmish level, so you usually sort of around up to 10 models ish per team. You've also got the opportunity to like play a one-on-one against an opponent or to work cooperatively, like you're teamed up to take on something else that's sort of played by the AI. Like, I think that would be a really, really cool idea. And I know a lot of people like really like Mordheim, and a lot of people would probably just want Mordheim back in the fantasy setting. Me personally, I've always been more of a sci-fi person than a fantasy person. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do love like your sort of classic high fantasy, but I've always been more of a sci-fi person, and having something like that, I would absolutely love it. Now, whether there's actually a market for this, I don't know. Stargrave seems to be getting a lot of traction. And be a lot of people seem to be getting really into it. Those people that might play this might just stick with Stargrave. I don't know, but that's what I'd like to see. Like I said, my dream scenario.
And I think as well for anyone that's listening, if there is a game out there which Pickle has just described and we've just not played it yet, please let us know as well, because we haven't played every single game, so there may well be. I think what we've found in maybe our journeys is there are lots of games which have got elements of what we'd want in one game. So we just pick all the elements we like and slam them into one. Necromunda's kind of along that lines a little bit. It's kind of in the sci-fi, but it's grounded down into one hive. So you can't go on a ship and like explore somewhere else or anything like that. You're stuck in a hive. Blackstone Fortress was kind of the same. You've got a ship, but you don't really have much in the upgrade side of things. It's just that, like the rogue trader boxes and stuff like that. So there's all like these elements we kind of like to see, and it very much, I think, on my side of things and in yours, is the element of like a little bit of role play in there as well.
That's it, yeah, because I really like playing role-playing games. Like, I love playing D&D. The problem is it's hard to commit to that sort of thing, because realistically, like, the story is what drives that. Like, it is a story and that's it. Obviously there's combat in it and stuff, but it's a role-playing game first and foremost. So you have to sort of commit to doing that on a regular basis to keep that up. Whereas something like Frostgrave or whatever the 40k version would be if they did it, you could like, each mission is a standalone thing, and you keep your character sheet or your warband sheet or whatever, and
you just pick it up when you need to.
Yeah, you pick it up and you play it. Same as you do with Blood Bowl. You don't have to play Blood Bowl every week. Like, you still got your roster with all your upgrades and everything, and you sort of do that. I think that could be a cool game. Like I said, Games Workshop probably not likely to do it, but I would absolutely love it if they did. Like, something like that, I would absolutely love. To be honest, if they brought Mordheim back and started supporting that again, I'd play that as it is. Like, I'd play the fantasy version because I like that sort of mix of RPG and tabletop. But I would love a sci-fi version.
Yeah, indeed. And Games Workshop, if you're listening and you do it, we definitely want to be in the credits. So just put
us at the back.
Just send us some money. Put pictures in the books of us. Give us some praise. You know, we don't mind taking the royalties. That's fine.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll take that hit.
you can have it. It's fine.
So there we go. They were our favourite games and sort of pie in the sky ideas for what we'd like to see if we could make our own boxed game from GW. Let us know in the comments down below or over on the Pickle Jar Discord, link down below in the description, what you would like to see if you could have any sort of board game, any style of gameplay, and what your favourite games are that are currently out. Let us know in the comments down below. And that is going to do it for this week. We've managed almost an hour anyway, which is cool. We weren't sure if we were going to. We thought it might be a little bit shorter, but it's ended up being about the right length. So that's always a good sign. As I mentioned at the start of the episode, there's no snack attack this week because Elston can't taste anything. And this is a bonus episode anyway. So the next episode will be out in a couple of weeks, and we'll be back on our regular routine then. We'll have a snack attack for you. The book for the story time for the next episode is Gazgul Thraka. The book, I have already finished it. I finished it in record time.
I was going to say, you slammed through that one. I've just started listening to it because I'm like, I've got to play catch up.
I mean, I've loved reading the Necron books that I've read recently, but if I'm being completely honest, I have not been as sort of enthralled and wanting to carry on. Because like, I've enjoyed reading those, but like, I'll get to the end of a chapter and I've gone, right, okay, that, you know, I've read for today. I'll go and do something else and I'll carry on tomorrow. And I've took it very steady. This book, I've just gone, just one more chapter. Just one more chapter. I've absolutely loved it. I mean, most of it I read on the train to London and on the train on the way back from London, because that was like 2.5 hours either way.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of reading done then, all in one go. Like, I think I'd read about 2/3 of the book by the time I got back from London. But I finished reading it. So if you want to read that, you've got a couple of weeks, or listen to it on audiobook. You've got a couple of weeks, and we'll be talking about that on the next episode. And we'll have a snack attack for you as well, because hopefully Elston will be back in full health by the time we record the next episode.
Oh, yeah, goddamn hope so.
Elston, where can people find you on the World Wide Web? Tell the lovely people, please.
So, basically what you do is you go to a newsagent's, you find the top shelf magazine, you flick to the back where the numbers are, and there'll be one circle that says Elvin. Call that number and you can reach me, and you can have this voice for £3.50 a minute. And
it's gone up. £3.50 a minute now.
Shh, it's actually £4. Just don't tell them. Shh. If you want to find me, I'm on my YouTube channel, Elston. You can find videos of me doing silly things there. There's Instagram, Facebook. You can find me there. And if you want to get in contact, drop us a message. On the Pickle Jar Discord server is probably the best place. And everyone, I hope anyone else that's had COVID as well, I feel your pain and I apologize. I didn't realize what you were going through. I do now. Yeah. But it does allow me to charge £4 a minute. So I'm making money, at least.
Every cloud.
Yeah.
You can find me over on my YouTube channel, The Pickle Jar, or you can find me live on my live stream channel every Wednesday and every other Sunday morning, where I do live streams talking about Warhammer, painting Warhammer, building Warhammer, and other stuff, not just Games Workshop, like other models as well. I am sort of in the midst of starting my big Star Wars Legion project. I had yet another delivery the other day. I have... more clones now. I've got a bunch of ARC troopers and the AT-RT Walker.
Right, cool.
Which I've no idea how many go in a unit, but I've got a lot of them. I don't know. I don't know how to do stuff yet. But I've got a lot more stuff. So the big Star Wars project is continuing.
Just doing a typical Wargamer thing and buying the entire army and now go, right, how do I use this?
Yeah, how does this work?
How does this work?
Look out for the big Star Wars project video. That should be sort of the middle of next month. The plan is to get started filming this as soon as I've finished on the current video.
Wonderful.
So you can look out for that coming out. You can also find me over on Geek Gaming Scenics, where I am more often than not in those videos with Luke, even if I'm just priming his models because I don't trust him with an airbrush. But thank you very much for listening. Thanks for tuning in today. If you've enjoyed the show, leave us a like or a review. Leave us a comment and let us know what you think and let us know about your favourite games. If you've got any suggestions for Snack Attack or books or anything else for the podcast, leave those over on the Discord server. A link for everything that we've mentioned will be down below in the description or in the show notes. And that is going to do it from us this week. So thank you very much for tuning in and we'll catch you next time. Bye for now.
Bye. We have to find out a way to end this one. I think they need to get their money's worth, right? Should I just, see if you can hit the same register I'm rocking at the moment, and we'll just have a conversation about beans.
When I try to go deep, though, I start to sound like a distinguished gentleman. I have to put a voice on. So I can go, oh, yes.
Yeah. When I go deep, I tend to grunt.
Oh, Miss Moneypenny.
Why did you go Sean Connery? Oh, Miss Moneypenny.
I told you, it's just what happens.
Oh, I think that'll do it.